Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, people. We are gonna start our 2.5 lesson. I also want to apologize if you hear my dog Farida bark. She's barking randomly, so I do apologize before that, okay? All right, so our 2.5 lesson begins right after our learning about these boarding schools, assimilation with Native Americans. And now we are going to discuss about um, the history of indigenous people around the world and in the US. So right about now, you should have finished your do now, your 2.5 do now, and you should be pulling out your guided notes, your 2.5 guided notes on Canvas. It'll look something like this. So as I'm going through each categories of reasons of indigenous history, you are going to take some notes on take notes of each. You will be taking notes. Um, each subcategory has a video that you will be watching for those for that history, and then you will reach your reflection questions. But to start off, let's discuss about what is the history of indigenous people around the world. Well, they have always had distinct social, economic, and political systems. They have always had distinct languages, cultures, and beliefs. They have always had a strong link to land, territories, and surrounding natural resources, and they have always resisted discrimination and marginalization against them by state governments and corporations. And the word marginalization, I'll link that on the side at the top. So, as we can see, indigenous people have always had distinct social, economic, and political systems. So, that's just pretty much saying that even before colonialism, indigenous people had their own society. As you can see here, the Machu Picchu, they had their own type of innovations, engineering, they did astronomy, they did some textile, they did arts, engineering, and they had their own religion. Usually, colonialism history, the way it starts off is that they don't use Native Americans as part of this broad society. Um, Moving on, number two. Indigenous people have always had distinct language, culture, and beliefs. So here you will be watching the Native American and cultural practices to connect to the spiritual world and land of Hawaii. And then three, indigenous people have always had strong link to territories and surrounding natural resources. So this just tells you that they had um, a strong connection to their environment and they protect it. So here you'll be watching a short clip of the of the Xingu tribe of the Amazon, who really, really want to protect the Amazon rainforest. And finally, Native Americans have always resisted discrimination and marginalization against by the state governments and corporations. And here are the three reasons why they believe they need to protect these lands. Not their lands, but why they need to protect is because one, their land rights. They've had loss of land throughout history. Climate change is another reason, given their dependence on nature. Indigenous people are some of the first to face the consequences of climate change. And finally, number three, self-determination. The future of Indigenous people depends on their inclusion and process that affect their lives. So they are greatly affected. So this is reasons why they push for it. And you'll be watching a current, I believe this is about 4 or 5 years old. If you haven't heard of it, of Standing Rock of the North Dakota pipelines. It's a pipeline that flows through the homelands of Native Americans, and I believe it'll affect about 18 million people. And what it will do is that this pipeline is very near the Missouri River. So it will affect their environment, and it does harm people. So watch this short clip and you will be taking notes. The notes are here at the bottom for each subcategory. And this is really simple. I just want you to write what are 3 things that you learned about each Indigenous history, right? And then finally, your reflection are 3 things that you learned in the lesson, 2 things that you like about the lesson, or 2 facts that you learned. And then finally, 1 question that you have about the lesson. Once you're all done, don't forget, remember to complete your exit ticket. And that is it for today. All right, folks, have a good rest of your day.